some of the bottom of the car before it gets to the pits.
What about the rim?
Well, the rim they don't really care about. He's probably already ruined that by now.
Wait a minute. How much does the rim cost?
The rim probably cost about $1,500, Paul.
I'd care.
Sullivan is having an exceptional day. You see the telemetry there. We're looking at his throttle opening there, the third thing over. You're in and out of the throttle on a track like this, unlike Indianapolis, where you're on it almost all the time. This is a little bit easier on engines, except that it's such a hot day. Notice the work he's doing. Coming into this race, Sullivan was almost estranged from the Gallus team. Really a difficult situation between him and the team. They had not had much results so far this year. Suddenly, Danny and Little Al, for that matter, came alive on this track. They're doing exceptionally well. Sullivan in 6th, Little Al in 5th right now. A strong showing today for the Gallus team.
Danny Sullivan putting a lot of input into that wheel in some corners. You can see how terribly rough it is as he bounces over different changes in the pavement. Eddie Cheever is into the pits now as he gets that tire repaired, new wheel assembly on, and Eddie Cheever is back into the fight. Paul Tracy is still the leader. He is now unchallenged by Nigel Mansell, who runs in 2nd place. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
The ITT Automotive Detroit Grand Prix, brought to you by Budweiser. Fresh, pure, natural, proud to be your Bud. By Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. By Toyota, reminding you to always buckle up. Do it for those who love you. And by AC Delco Automotive Parts. AC Delco. It's like buying time.
Looking down on the circuit at Belle Isle, Detroit, the leader of the race, Paul Tracy. You see he runs with a clear track ahead, unchallenged by Nigel Mansell, who is some distance back in 2nd place. The Goodyear Blimp Spirit drifting lazily over this track in a beautiful blue sky. The pilot today is John Moran. Great to have them around at any car race.
This race represents something of an aesthetic highlight, I think, for the year. The beautiful park here, designed by Frederick Law Olmsted. You see an exciting
Gets it up on the curve and gets it sideways, but he keeps it under control. He was making a move on Ari Luyendyk. That's an ongoing battle for 10th place.
He was braking when he went up on the curve, and that's what turned the car sideways so fast. He thought he had to brake because he was trying to pass Ari right there.
Beautifully controlled by the Italian driver, Teo Fabi, who a week from now, and there's more action here.
Stefan Johansson still worrying at the back of Mansell's car. Now, Bobby, is that blocking or not?
That's intentional blocking. That's when Wally Dallenbach, in my opinion, ought to come up and say, hey, now that is not the way we race over here.
I think it's gone from being a feint here and there to something that is going on lap after lap.
All the brakes light up with smoke as they chase Mansell into the corner. You're on board the nose of Bobby Rahal's car. Johansson is just ahead, then Mansell just ahead of him. And Mansell is making that car very wide indeed.
They call Mansell the Lion. He is a warrior kind of mentality in the car. He's not going to give anything away. But he may be placing himself under more danger right now by blocking and being under attack from Johansson. You saw another move by Johansson than if he did let him by.
That type of blocking that we just saw Mansell do, Paul, about 10, 15 years ago would have brought around a black flag for the car. That brought him in. If he did it again, they would start penalizing him and set him down if they had to.
Well,
that kind of stuff really needs to stop in this type of motor racing.
The view back from Nigel Mansell's car to Johansson.
The idea is that this is fine toward the end of the race when you're defending your position over the last few laps, particularly if you're the leader. But it is frowned on at this stage.
Sam, it's not good anytime. You don't ever block cars. That's how people get hurt in this business.
Now, Allenser Jr. and Bobby Rahal have both been able to close in on Johansson. Remember last year how Rahal just sat back and watched Michael Andretti and Paul Tracy battle, and then when they got locked up in a fight, Rahal just went to the inside. But now Mansell using some very unusual lines to keep Johansson back. Johansson makes a move to the outside. And we've got a car into the barrier, and it is Emerson.
Boy, and is he buried into the tires hard on that one. The car's really deep into it.
Should be some concern for Fittipaldi. He is in the cockpit underneath that. There should be plenty of nice, solid, deformable structure around him to protect him. But remember when Teo Fabi went very hard into a set of tires at the race at Denver, they were concerned for the weight of the tires. They're no doubt concerned about that here today. That's just steam coming off the coolers. They came up and doused it with water anyway.
Judging from how calm they are in the pits, chances are that Emerson has radioed in that he's okay. I think he's fine.
And he's moving there. So Fittipaldi appears to be all right. The demeanor of the crew was such that they apparently had heard from him. There's Fittipaldi as he came in. Boy, he got it just all the way loose and up into the barriers. And with this accident, the yellow goes out all the way around the course. Moving around Lyondike.
He got wide, he got out into the marbles like I described a little while ago where the track is dirty, Paul. Like rear end jumped right around because he was trying to go around Lyondike, and they're just too dirty out there. Now, another thing that could be out there, look on the ground there, all those little spots that you see is rubber.
Let's go to Jackaroo. Paul Tracy's in.
Well, the misfortune of his teammate Emerson Fittipaldi has provided some good fortune for your leader, Paul Tracy. Jerry Brion and the rest of the crew, Roger Penske watching, and they've changed all 4 tires. He lights them up, but he's out very quickly.
So taking advantage of that full course yellow on the 39th lap. Now Paul Tracy is in, so is second place Nigel Mansell.
This is a race that's developing along the lines of the last road course race, which was at Long Beach, very like this.
Here's Gary Gerald.
Well, we watched Nigel Mansell off the Jackson away very quickly. He beats Stefan Johansson out by about a car length. And again, we see blisters, even though those tires weren't on there very long. He had indicated on the radio he wanted to get to the pits as soon as possible. The yellow gave him the opportunity, but we see more blisters.
So the sunshine down on this track, making for a slick track and a difficult day in adjusting to it. Here was Emerson as he moved to the outside. Same place that Griard made his move early.
Unfortunately, if you look down at the racetrack, and we had a close-up a little while ago, you see all those little black spots. Those are rubber spots. Those are from the tires on the ground, and that's the marbles that are getting the cars loose right now, Paul.
So we are back under a full course caution now as they get Fittipaldi's car off. We're back at Belle Isle in Detroit, the ITT Automotive Detroit Grand Prix with 1 lap to go, and then we will restart coming out of this, the second caution period of the day, with a full course yellow. Now on Sunday, July 11th, it's the Indy cars again here on ABC, this time along the shores of Lake Erie. These IndyCar drivers on the north coast of Cleveland for the IndyCar Grand Prix presented by Goodyear. That's Sunday, July 11th on ABC Sports. We'll take a look at the standings as they sit right now under the caution. And while we look at them, let's review yet another rule. Rule 6.7 of the IndyCar rules as it applies to parade and pace laps toward the end of the paragraph. No driver shall attempt to improve the position of any race car prior to crossing the starting line. The decision of the officials as to whether a driver improperly advanced positions prior to crossing the starting line at the start of a race is not, repeat, not subject to protest. Jackaroo?
Paul, we've got another problem now. Behind me is a radar detector and a readout. The speed limit this afternoon on pit road is 80 miles an hour. Wally Dallenbach told the teams, you go to 86, he calls it drop dead time. 93 miles an hour was the exit speed of your leader, Paul Tracy. When they go to green, he's going to be called in for a stop-and-go penalty.
Paul Tracy is currently second in the race. The leader of the race is Bobby Rahal, but he has not completed a second pit stop. It's been 21 laps since Bobby Rahal has been in the pits. He's in front of the field now. There's Paul Tracy. He'll have a stop and go. And for an update on Rahal, let's go to Gary.
Well, it's one of those calculated risks down here, Paul. They stay out. They have the lead of the race. They hope that there'll be a yellow or an opportunity to get a stop somewhere before they get out of their fuel window. But keep in mind, everybody else who has pitted is going to have to make a splash and go yet in the final laps if we don't get more yellow.
So they should be coming back to green very shortly now. You saw the PPG pace car, Johnny Rutherford at the wheel. You look over the nose of Bobby Rahal's car. The pace car is still ahead. It will veer off to the right and onto the pit road as the rest of the field now begins to pick up the pace. And already Bobby Rahal is back at full chat. A flash to the green flag. And we're back running again. But very quickly, Paul Tracy should see a black flag for the stop-and-go penalty.
Remember that it was a year ago that Rahal won this race, as you, Paul, said, by very careful strategy of watching the others drop out. He's strongly positioned right now.
But he still, Sam, has to have another fuel stop. And he's going to try to stretch it out and hope for another yellow. It's a bit of a gamble right now. Looking at how the back end comes around on Rahal's and Tracy's car there.
That perhaps giving a bit of an indication, at least in that section of the course, on how slick it can get.
This is just the second race for Rahal in this new 93 Lola after they abandoned having him drive the Rahal Hogan chassis. So they're still getting used to the new Lola, but very effective here.
When you go up into that turn 7, they run from asphalt to cement and back to asphalt again. And that's where you see the cars really bump a lot. The rear ends really jump out when they do that.
Johansson battles with Mansell. And Sullivan is just behind Johansson as Teo Fabi takes the tire barrier out. And Fabi now climbing out of that car. So will this bring out another full course yellow? Here's how Fabi got into trouble. He came down under Groff. Groff cut the front end of the car off. And Fabi just drove off and into the barrier.
Yeah, just took the wheel, the left front wheel, and just when he hit, just literally turned it to the left and right at the tie barrier. Just no time at all.
Continues green on the remainder of the race course with Bobby Rahal still in front. And we've got another car, and it looks like Cheever in trouble. Second problem for Cheever of the day. So he did a quick spin, caught the left rear and the rear wing, Bobby.
Yeah, so what, we didn't see that happen right there, but what happens is they
there it is, there's a big
Johansson made a move, and he didn't. But look,
yes.
he gets into Fabi. Johansson was trying to make a move on Mansell, moved to the inside, he got shut off, moved to the outside, and into Fabi's wrecked car.
Fabi's car was really blocking a lot of the racetrack right there. The guys don't see it till they get there, although there are plenty of yellow flags. There's plenty of warning for it.
There had to be plenty of yellows out in front of that, especially with the IndyCar safety vehicle out there. This group of corner workers in Detroit, of course, have dealt with that before. Remember the situation over on the streets?
Mansell is checking his car. Look at this. He's slowed down. 2 cars shot right by him, so I think Mansell has been touched in this proceeding.
We take a look at what really is the end of the situation. Here comes the safety vehicle. Look to the right.
Mansell strikes nothing there. I don't know what the problem with his car could be. It's all involving Johansson and Fabi.
Back to a full course caution. Just mentioning the corner workers again. We were talking to one of the corner stations here. They were the same people that dealt with that situation on the streets around the Ren Center several years ago when they just literally closed down a section of the race course in 1991. Now, here comes Eddie Cheever trying to get back into the pit. Second time today we've seen this, but this time we're talking more damage. We're back to a full course yellow, and Bobby Rahal's gamble may have paid off. But we may have one of these volunteer course marshals injured. Flat rear tire on Mansell's car. Let's go to Gary.
You look with the crew, Paul, from the back of the car. They've already changed a destroyed right rear tire. Now Nigel gets back underway. Remember the adversity he had in Australia. He came back and won. Now he's had some real adversity here at Belle Isle. Can he do it again?
Well, it makes you wonder, a bit slippery. Johansson, when he made his dart to the right side of Mansell's car, might have gotten in to Mansell's right rear, causing this situation for Mansell. But at least it comes at a time in which there is a full course yellow.